how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering the woke boycotts. Target is tanking their CEO, even though he knows he's created tremendous problems for the company. And I'm not just talking about the recent boycotts over their excessive Pride Month displays. He's created a lot of problems for them. He's refusing to give up any power. He's also not willing to even share his power. He plans on being at the company after the usual retirement age of 65, and he expects to maintain his title as chairman of the board. The board usually oversees the CEO and kind of makes sure that everything's going okay. Well, he's got the title of CEO and chairman. Sales are down at Target as much as 50% at some stores. Not all stores, but at some stores. I'll give you the example from it. Lawsuits have started. Shareholders are absolutely livid, completely furious at the recent moves to try to push the LGBT agenda in the stores at the expense of the customers and the shareholders. And of course, their stock has been down and it continues to be down. It has not rebounded from where it's lost the bulk of its money. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. I'm trying to get to 25,000 subscribers, so if you can subscribe, please do subscribe. Thank you for that. Target has nowhere to hide, and its CEO does not deserve his extended term in office. But unfortunately, he is going to get it. According to the annual proxy statement of Target, company CEO Brian Cornell intends to stay in his role beyond the traditional retirement age of 65. What's a proxy statement? A proxy statement is a document sent to shareholders letting them know when and where a shareholders meeting is taking place and detailing the matters to be voted on at the meeting. You can attend the meeting and vote in person or cast a proxy vote. Target has lost as much as $15.7 billion to $16 billion worth of market value, depending on how you calculate it. Where they're at right now is down about $13 billion. That's not much of a recovery, and it doesn't look like one is going to happen. People are not just attending shopping at Target the way they used to do. Now, that extended role for the CEO does not just include serving as CEO, but also chairman of the board, to whom the CEO answers, making him in some sense his own boss. The board supports the arrangement by citing, quote, strategic clarity and strong financial performance during his tenure. Since combining the CEO and chairman role is done by less than half of companies and less companies as time is going on, it's not generally seen as good governance, and governance is just general oversight of the company, making sure everything's going in the right direction. Cornell is asking for exceptional confidence in his abilities. The board supported him in this, and that was a mistake. This is not a company whose stock is likely to recover anytime soon. We don't do investments on my channel. I'm not saying you should buy or shouldn't buy the stock. I don't like to make recommendations like that. But just look at this. JP Morgan downgraded their stock, suggesting the stock is not looking so good, you shouldn't buy it. So did KeyBank. They also downgraded the stock and said, just stay away from the stock for now. Citibank's analyst division, said, don't buy this stock. We don't think it's worth buying. Bank of America slashed their price target, also downgrading the stock, saying, you probably shouldn't be buying this stock. Brian Cornell has not earned the privilege of continued service as both CEO and chairman of the board. According to the proxy statement, the CEO's roles include, quote, risk management, reputation management, and ESG. It seems pretty hard to argue that recent events and controversies reveal strategic clarity around Target's brand and reputational management. Target's reputation has taken a major beating lately, and it deserves it. Cornell's tenure as CEO has seen Target turn a mainstream brand with positive value into what Morning Consult in 2018 identified as a polarizing brand. And that was back in 2018, before the tuck-friendly bathing suits and the Bible Girl 666 t-shirt by a designer who praises Satan and calls for the beheading of, quote, homophobes. These latest offenses have been followed by a backlash that has led to roughly $13 billion for now in lost market capitalization. That's the value of the stock. That was from a $74 billion company. That is a huge chunk of loss for the company. By any reasonable standard, the leaders of this company have engaged in a wanton act of reputational destruction. It may not have been deliberate, but they sure did it. This was back in 2018. A lot of us don't remember this because, hey, there's been a lot going on in the world in the last few years. But from Morning Consult back in 2018, Walmart versus Target, a political divide among shoppers. Walmart is more popular among Republicans, while more Democrats see Target in a favorable light. These kinds of political divisions, when you're just looking to serve a customer, really don't make any sense. And you can tell it was deliberate to push an agenda when a company has a boycott backlash like this, because they obviously didn't go and ask their customers, hey, are you comfortable with this? What do you think of some of these items we're planning for Pride Month? If they had just asked their customers, they would have found out their customers think it's way over the line. Here's a fascinating bit of feedback from a trans person about Target's Pride selection. This is coming from Reddit, the social media site. You would have to kill me before I went out wearing this shirt. This is the Trans People Will Always Exist shirt they made at Target. I don't want to make being trans a, quote, cool trait and wear a colorful shirt telling the world that I'm trans. I get microaggressions constantly and am terrified of being hate crimed. Everyone that I have ever told that I'm trans since I started passing has treated me differently and not in a good way. I'll be surprised if I see anyone wearing this shirt. So if trans people are trying to pass, why would they want a shirt in the first place, Target, that says trans people will always exist, I'm trans? Who is this for? It's obviously just for pushing some kind of agenda if people who are the target market don't even like the idea of the merchandise. Cornell, while he was CEO, has seen Target turn its mainstream brand with positive value into what Morning Consult identified as a polarizing brand. The public response we're seeing now is not really a boycott. I've covered that in Bud Light as well. For decades, conservative activists have tried to herd their followers into one or another boycott, but with diminishing results. They just don't work. Boycotts are top-down and duty-driven. Hey, if you're part of our group, you need to do this boycott. It's annoying. What we're seeing with companies like Target and Bud Light is brand revulsion. There is an interesting background to Target's embrace of liberal causes. Back in 2010, the former CEO approved a contribution to a pro-business mainstream candidate who was opposed to same-sex marriage. The LGBT faction went hard after Target, and the company has been, quote, atoning for its alleged homophobia ever since, signing the various human rights campaign letters, opening women's bathrooms to men, banning books skeptical about sexual transitions for minors, and now embracing Satanism and onesies for boys who don't want to be boys, and then $13 billion gone. Target has made a series of strategically disastrous moves, pandering to a narrow group of LGBT extremists, simultaneously offending the retailer's customer base. Some brands are edgy. If you make athletic footwear, you can apparently get away with arranging an endorsement deal with players who take a knee during the anthem. Ben & Jerry's can even be anti-Israel and still sell their ice cream. But Target is a middle-class retailer. It can't keep kowtowing to each new letter added to the LGBT group and still maintain its customers. It can't, it didn't, and it won't. On June 14th, the company had its annual meeting and chose liberal Austin, Texas for its location. Notably, the company decided against an online meeting. In-person meetings tend to attract either loyalist or activist shareholders. Online meetings have allowed conservatives who are often busy with life's responsibilities to log on and participate, which they've been doing much more than in past years. Target's meeting looks like a classic, quote, foxhole meeting. In other words, it appears Target is trying to avoid questions from its actual owners. Regrettably, the Target board, including its poorly performing CEO and chairman, was reelected. There was a proposal to separate the CEO and chair roles, and while that resolution failed, it did perform surprisingly well at 32% support. That should send a message. Furthermore, the two board members with the highest percent of votes against were the CEO chair and the highly ideological lead independent director. Retention votes are always high, and these weren't exactly no confidence votes, but neither were they high confidence. So Brian Cornell, the CEO of Target, is still in control. He's staying in control, and we can't expect a lot of good to come out of Target. Target's sales have been down. The foot traffic has been down. This was from one of the analysts. Outkick did an article about it. Target store traffic plunged 14% in the final week of May. It had plunged 7% throughout May. And Target is a direct competitor with Walmart, even though Target has more discretionary items you don't necessarily need, but things you might like and usually are at an affordable price. However, Target actually beat Walmart in foot traffic in the second quarter of 2022. That's a big deal. That was back then. Now they're losing sales. They're losing foot traffic. From Reddit, this Target employee comments, the lowest I've probably ever seen drive-ups. Genuinely at an all-time low here. It's a catch-22 because it's nice we aren't being slammed, but boring as hell because there's nothing to do. They had 52 total guests drive up to pick up orders. Usually, they have 90 to 100 orders. That's about a 50% drop-off at that location. We'll have to see more sales reported by Target to understand exactly what effect the boycotts are having. But this 14% in-store traffic decline is a very serious number, and it's one of the reasons why they got that stock downgrade. They're also facing massive theft. There are theft rings hitting Target. They've reported a $1.3 billion loss in organized theft, gangs basically robbing their stores. And they're facing a massive drop-off in sales when all of the student loan payments restart very soon, whether it's September or October. That's $5 billion a month that's coming out of the economy. And when you focus on selling discretionary items the way Target does, not necessities, you're going to lose a lot of those sales. They're well aware of that. And that's part of the reasons why people are suggesting not to buy the stock. They're also getting increased pressure from attorney generals because they removed the Pride merchandise. This is probably for publicity at this point. There aren't going to be criminal cases against Target for them destroying and removing their LGBT merchandise for Pride Month. However, it's a hassle they don't particularly need. It doesn't make them look good as a company, and it draws more and more Democrat attorney generals to look at Target and try to find a way to make problems for them. And the lawsuits for Target are just beginning. This is from the National Center for Public Policy Research. Target shareholders take legal action as companies' pride and politics sink their investments. The lawsuit situation is relatively new. There are going to be more lawsuit situations, probably a class action lawsuit. And of course, the issue is there was no legitimate reason to push the Pride displays and merchandise as much as they did. The result of the boycott has hurt shareholders tremendously. It's not hurting the CEO the same way that it's hurting the people who actually own the stock. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Do you think the CEO at Target should stay as CEO and chairman of the board, basically being his own boss, overseeing his strategic plans? Or do you think he really should just say, you know something, maybe we should get more feedback from the board of directors, let someone else be the chairman and oversee my work in case perhaps I miss a potential detail like they just did all of Pride Month. It's pretty incredible to see them not even making an effort to take responsibility for what they've done. Also, what do you think of these lawsuits? Do you think shareholders will be able to sue the company for the billions of dollars lost over this ridiculous mismanagement of how they handled the Pride Month displays and LGBT merchandise for kids? Always love to see your ideas. Really appreciate you guys. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.